Why are you just holding bacon?
Dude, that's ridiculous.
Welcome to
The weirdest start ever.
Just wait till he talks about smoking bacon. That's
hey, whoa! That's like when the stream's not live type conversation. Thank you guys for coming to the stream. We got a very special show today. First of all, before I do anything, I want to thank Goalie TV, my duo, for this amazing overlay. We want your guys' feedback. This is not like the way it's set in stone. So you'll see on the bottom that there's an update for the COD League, and then next to that there's going to be a scrolling news feed, and we've got our sponsors in the corners, and the topics that we're going to talk about are over on the left. But I want you guys to give us feedback. Let us know what you think, what we could change, what may make it look better. This is definitely like a beta test or a pilot for what I guess is what you would call it for the new overlay. So thank you, Goalie, for putting in so much work. This is something that he's had in his mind. We used to do the show like this, but it was when it wasn't streamed. It was recorded back in the day when I first met Smiting Fatty and Hitch, actually. But, you know, we went to a different format up until now. So we're trying to elevate our game continuously. So let us know by tweeting what you think of it, because that's the best way for us to kind of keep track of your feedback. Yeah, I'm sure some of you came here for the Scuf giveaway. You're like, when is the Scuf going to be given away? You can see on the screen that it's the last thing we're going to do. You do have to be in the stream when we give away the Envy Scuf, and we're not going to tell you exactly what to type or how we're going to do the giveaway until that point. Subscribers to the channel are 3 times as likely to win the giveaway. So if you want to subscribe, the subscribe button is down below. You don't have to. I'm not making you. I'm just saying that you'll be more likely to win the giveaway. So to get into the show, you guys are going to go around. We're going to go around and let you guys introduce yourselves. You're going to say your name, any affiliations you have in the community, and 3 things that must be in the next Call of Duty. 3 things that you would say have to be in the next COD.
This is like first day of school. What's going on here?
welcome to the STiKS University.
Welcome. And I'm going to start with Fatty, then I'll go Merk, Hitch, and then myself.
Hi, my name is your short fat friend, Smiting Fatty, who has a beard and needs a haircut. You can use Fatty instead of Kingdom for your skill purchases. No, I'm just kidding. Use Kingdom. He needs it more. Anyways, man. I'm just teasing. I actually, yeah. Anyways, what does the next COD need? Guns? No, I'm just kidding. Come on, laugh. No. Oh, that's hard. I don't want to say exosuits. I want to see a throwback kind of Vietnam War era Call of Duty. So it would have to have just like a normal 308 sniper rifle, 1 shot to the head kills and 2 to the body. You know, just some classic guns, no exosuits. But I still want it to be fast paced. Now, good luck with that, Treyarch. I think that was 3 things.
Or he said 1 thing. That's
I said throwback to Vietnam. So my 1 is throwback to Vietnam. 1 shot to the head sniper rifles, 2 to the body, and just just some classic guns. Like, I'm tired of made up guns. I want some real guns.
Okay.
All right. I'm Joe DeLuca, also known as Merk. I'm a professional Call of Duty player. Next 3 things that I want, Mr. Vandahar, if you're listening, I hope you are. Probably not. Probably making the game. First things first, I know a lot of people would like this. Classic camos, red, blue, very just color orientated, or a customizer. I don't know if you guys played Rainbow Six Vegas, but you could actually like create the colors of your gun. So like my FAMAS was like purple, green, and blue, and it looked real badass. That would be pretty cool. Secondly, obviously, esports support, broadcaster, all the good stuff. And then thirdly, a improved ranking system. I think that's what we all sort of want. I think everybody's sort of, they didn't like the first AW ranked play season. There's some things that have to change, but you know, I believe Vandahar has the formula.
Do you think it should be like Black Ops 2 though?
No, I don't believe it should be like Black Ops 2.
Because as long as I don't get hit off like every other game, I'm fine with anything.
I think it should be like a LOL CS:GO mixture of ranking. A lot of you play with your skill level. I think the biggest problem with Black Ops 2 was even if you are masters, you are still playing with silvers and golds, and I just don't find that very competitive.
Hitch, you're up.
What up, guys? Hitch here, but you can call me Goalie's Browsing History, and I am I'm a content creator for Optic Intel, and three things that should be in a in Call of Duty would be good linear maps. I think balanced guns where I want like upwards of like 6 guns to be viable in competitive play, and then like all of them to be viable in pubs. I want to be able to use anything in pubs and outplay someone else. And then
that's hard to
do. I know. But in a perfect world, man.
Because I think the biggest thing is if the guns are too balanced, then what are people going to use? And everything's the same, right? So, and there's always going to be 2 or 3 that are used the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want like guns that like different, like there's different perks to using different ones. Kind of like, the MP7 when Rambo used to use it, except it turns out like, you know what I mean? Like, because he was like really close up, whereas. All right, and then last thing, what was? Oh yeah, the ranking system, like Merk already said.
Can't copy.
Well, like everybody wants that.
All right, so my name is Kingdom Soldier. I do some YouTube, some Twitch, some tweeting. You'll see me sliding on the ESR from time to time. And lots more planned for this year. And anybody who has their STiKS shirt or hoodie, like Hitch and Goalie, I'm very jealous. I don't have mine because my wife took all 3 sets of keys with her to work. So it's probably in the mail along with my G Fuel that I've been waiting for. And I'm just kind of out of luck sitting here. So for the next COD, I think Dead Silence, instead of it being like an exo ability, I'm not willing to say that exosuits have to be in the next game. Some people believe that they don't have to be, so I'm not going to go there. I think microtransactions, as far as like getting the skins for the competitive teams, that just has to be an option. With the views like that teams like Optic and Envy and FaZe, and with all these teams that are they're pulling, especially with popular players being spread out amongst the teams now, I think we have to have the option to download those skins if it'll help the prize pool for Call of Duty go up. Otherwise, I think we're going to see COD players start jumping to other stuff that has better prize pools. And lastly, I guess I'll say like the ranking system. I'm going to be copycat number 2. What Merk was saying on there. So thank you guys for the introductions. We're going to hop into our first topic, which is the COD Champs qualifiers, which are shockingly in a few weeks. I don't know how it snuck up on us. I guess the first question I kind of want to ask you guys is online still the right way to do the first round of qualifiers for COD Champs? And any of you guys can answer.
I feel like that's one that Merk should answer.
I mean, nobody wants it to be online. It's not like equal. It's not going to be fair because all these pro players are going to have higher seeds. They're going to have choices of more map hosts. Most teams are probably all going to be together on that weekend, if not all of them. Most professional teams, that is. But, I mean, you can't force people to spend money to go to an event to qualify for a bigger event, which, I mean, yes, Activision does pay if you qualify, but it's open to everyone. It's open to the public. So, when there's 4,000 teams signing up over the weekend, you can't just put that in a place, right? Like, because there's so many people that want to try this out. I mean, online sucks, but the pro players have the necessary tools to make it consistent. But obviously there's things such as DDoSing you can't really control. Hopefully. We had no issues last year. Yeah. But that's obviously a huge problem. But again, it's really hard to force all these people to group up money and get to these places. Maybe if you could do like a regional qualifier of some sort, like in a near location, maybe like 4 different regional tournaments, and then Activision can pay in for like a national one, and then like 12 teams from that one get on. But it would be really hard to do.
Is best of 3 the best format for those online qualifiers?
I think they're all best of 5. Every round's best of 5.
Really?
Every round is best of 5.
That's going to be what is that going to be, 3 days long? Like,
I think last year's, because I believe this year it's 12 teams from each qualifier.
That's a
so
lot.
That means, yeah, I think last year we went on until about 1 a.m. Which honestly, if you think about it, it's not too bad. It's probably like 8 to 9 rounds, probably starting at like 2. I mean, if everybody's on time and going, it's...
How many rounds do you guys skip? Like, because you guys get buys, don't you, for a couple?
Yeah, I don't know. It all depends on how many teams sign up. But I think the thing that's cool is because it's 12 teams, what's going to end up happening in the round of 16, the teams that lose will still have one more shot. There will be an extra game, which I don't think people have thought about, because it goes in increments of, 16 and then it's 8. And those top 8 will automatically be qualified, but if it's 12 teams, there will be 4 teams left. So once you get into the top 16, it's basically like a double limb sort of thing.
Wow. That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think last year there was teams that wasn't Rise one of those teams that didn't qualify on the first day, then they went to the next qualifiers for online and qualify.
Right. So because it's basically seed based, if you're not on 1 through 8 seed, you're not going to have like map choices. You're going to get basically screwed by the host. So those teams that were from like 9 through 16 and in the pro points seeding, they all basically made it on the second day, because I believe it was top 8 for the first day. For the first qualifier last year. So I think every seed 1 through 8 made it, if I remember correctly. I don't think there were many upsets.
There was.
So,
it's a good system. Like, there were LAN upsets, like LV, but it's a good system because it creates a situation where if you don't make it the first day, like, the people that make it don't play again. Like, so because your Optics and Envies and all these teams that made it the first round, they just got to sit out. And then the teams that were 12 through 16, basically you're almost a shoo-in for. So it's like if a TK and this is what I was saying last year, like people were complaining about online, but it's like if TK or Denial or one of these teams doesn't make it, then there's no excuse for why they didn't make it. Like, they have basically 2 chances to beat a lot of semi-pros and amateurs in order to make it into the top 16 or whatever the number is this year for the LAN. So question for all of you guys is, this year they changed it to where there's actually going to be more North American teams at Champs than there have been in the past. It's something that the community has been raging about for the last 2 years, because you get teams from, and Dito kind of got flamed on Twitter about it, you get teams that basically have been playing PC Call of Duty, and then when Champs comes around, they're like, well, how do I... And they win because they're just the best, but they're literally like playing, maybe my son that's 7 years old. It's like playing against them for pros. And so a lot of people have been complaining that they shouldn't be playing at Champs. I have an opinion on this, but before I state my opinion, I kind of want to go around and ask you guys, maybe starting with Hitch, like, what is your guys' opinion of increasing the number of North American teams? Is that best for competitive Call of Duty and COD Champs in general?
I think to an extent. I think, we should probably have maybe a couple more teams than we did last year, but I don't want to see a world championship where there's only the majority of the teams are from North America. Like, I don't want to see that because sorry, I feel like Champs has a lot a lot of growing room. Like, if they continue to do Champs, like, people are not going to get anything but better, if you know what I mean. And like, eventually it could be, actually really competitive. Like, I'm talking like, like 3 to 4 years down the line or something like that. And then it could be, Champs is something we always look forward to because it is that huge, world competition. So I don't want to, I don't want to see it get too North American based.
Fatty?
Crashing in the background. I agree with Hitch as far as I like to see the diversity. I mean, we saw an Australian team come in last year and do fairly decent, and it was exciting to see them take out some good teams. But that being said, North American talent is, I mean, it's here. It's we needed more teams in. I think I would like to see just a broader group of teams going to champs. I know that might like make it last longer, but I would like to see maybe more teams actually attending champs. Add they should have just added the North American squads and kept the same amount everywhere else. But I mean, we do have the most talent here in the States, or well, at least we have more talent.
You can say the most.
Yeah, the most.
Yeah,
we're the best. Merka.
Merka. Did you say Merka?
Merka. That's what I thought he said.
Merka. Joke.
Go ahead, Merk.
I mean, from a player standpoint, obviously the less NA teams at champs, the better for us. I mean, it's a better chance. Right, if you make it. I mean, if you ask every North American team, regionals was probably the most stacked event all year. It had the most competition the whole entire year because I don't even remember, was it 32 or 24 NA teams will beat, most of the teams worldwide. So a lot of people say that regionals had the most competition. I definitely think we needed more North American teams. There were teams last year, one or two of them, their player didn't even show up. I mean, yes, it's a free trip, but I mean, you have everybody knows Dolce or whatever. Delashi, yeah. I mean, he's like riot shields. It's just stuff you don't see. And if you want to show the world's best, I mean, you're not going to show off a dude jumping off a building trying to kill these dudes like behind head glitches. Like it's just not. It's not competitive to a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure viewing numbers were down in those matches. Hopefully this creates a more competitive group play, because if you look at the group play, usually it's one NA team, one North American team, then two wild cards from somewhere else, or one North American team, one Australian team, and wild cards from elsewhere. So usually those are the two teams, and you don't see that true competition, that crazy plays until bracket play. So obviously last year, especially in our group, there was a lot of craziness. We didn't play to our potential in pool play, but 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be upsets.
So before I state my opinion, I just wanted to welcome a few people to the STiKS fam that subbed, at Twombly99 and what was the name of the second person? Python. Thank you guys very much, and welcome to the STiKS family. We will. Well, yeah, I'll say that later. So, my opinion on this whole matter with the COD Champs thing is that, and I think Hitch basically articulated it pretty well. I feel like regionals are like, they're the North American version of COD Champs. Like, yeah, the competition is greater, but the only way that this as an esport is going to grow is if other countries are allowed to play. It's like when basketball started in the Olympics, all the other teams just were horrible, but slowly but surely those other teams started to get better and better players, and now, because Pau Gasol and all these guys that are from Steve Nash and people that are from other countries play for their countries. And so now you have more competition at the global scale. And I think the same thing will happen with COD, is like, if we allow, because I think there's a couple countries that just totally were just not allowed to even qualify this year because of their skill level. But if we allow more teams, more countries to participate, it's better for Activision, which eventually is better for us. It exposes more people to the esport. And as the events, 5 years down the road, if COD Champs still exists, we're probably going to have more quality play. We'll probably have better quality in the players and better skill at that event globally. Even though it'd be nice, but if we're gonna have all the North American teams play at COD Champs, we might as well just tell MLG to do a local event where all these teams get to go. Which I think regionals gives us that. It gives us the best of North America against each other. So that's just my opinion on the matter. So last question for the COD Champs qualifiers is, if you guys had to choose, I'm not going to say 5. I'm going to say if you had to name 3 North American teams, and that's with all the crazy roster changes that have happened, and we'll just exclude, well, we won't exclude Envy. I'm going to put you guys on the hot seat. If you had to name 3 North American teams that you would say are shoo-ins for making it to COD Champs and qualifying, what 3 teams would you put at the top of that list? And I'm gonna start with Merk, and then I'm gonna go Hitch, and then Fatty.
3 that are absolutely going to qualify.
Yeah.
I think you just look at which teams have team houses. In all honesty, it's going to be pretty simple if you have a team house. I mean, you got Optic Gaming. Obviously, they've been the best throughout this year. Then I would honestly say us. I think we're all going to be at the Envy House.
Nice.
Yeah, and then absolutely. And then I guess TK is all in one place. You know, I don't see anybody. And a guy actually corrected me. So it's going to be 16 teams are going to qualify on Saturday, and 8 teams Sunday. So
what?
Yeah. So that'll be the 24. So I mean, the top 16 teams will only play 1 match with a top 32 team. So that means Optic, if they have the 1 seed, will play 32nd seed to qualify. So I don't see any teams above the top 16 even competing with the pro teams, and especially if they're in a team house. It just doesn't. It's just not going to happen.
So you're saying you could almost name just the top 8. You can name the league teams, and they're all going to go.
I would say so. Yeah, like I said, there's just no. But like I said last year, you had 1 through 8 playing 9 through 16, and there were some scary matches. But if it's 16 on day 1, that means 1 through 16 plays 17 through 32. Maybe your closest match is 16 and 17, you know, and a few more closer to that. But 1 versus 32, 2 versus 31. I couldn't even name you 32 teams. Yeah. So I don't think so.
Dang, that's actually a good point.
Hitch? I'm not answering now. No.
Patty?
What teams do I think are going to qualify?
What 3 will qualify?
I think Optic, maybe the new phase. I don't know. And Envy. I think Envy has a solid squad now. Not because Merk's here, but
that's 100% because Merk's here.
Yeah, pretty much. Envy. I said that last or the other day though.
Aches, you're like, I don't know. My favorite player is just Aches, not because Aches is here. I think he comes next week. I don't know. I really think
but the new phase squad. What do you think of that, Joe? Sorry, I'm going off topic.
Go ahead.
The Aches, Haggy, that team? Yeah. I mean, to be honest, besides Optic Gaming, TK, us, and that phase team, I don't even know the rest of the teams. Like, there's so much in prof. Like, there's so many like crazy things happening. That phase team is it's gonna be tough. There's lots of personality on it. You've seen it. People that watched this weekend, Haggy and Aches, were already arguing. There's still time. That team can still change. How you can end up elsewhere. There's rumors of apathy still being considered to take his spot. Other people still being considered. It's not a for sure thing yet. I wouldn't. If they have another weekend like that, like this next weekend, where they're not doing as well as they should, because you have so much talent and they don't have that sort of objective player. Even I don't think Parasite should be, running objective, even though he is.
Ace is gonna tweet at you.
Is he? Why? What did he say?
Well, I'm sure. Did you see the video with him and Parasite arguing?
No, I didn't listen to it, but I'm just saying those two. I think Haggy just has to settle down, let Pat lead them. Pat knows how to win. He's the winningest, player. So if he listens, I think they'll do really well. I think it's a really solid team. Yeah. Enable has a ton of talent. So Slasher's a beast at this game. So I think they'll do really well.
So our next topic is actually Roster Mania, and you're kind of sliding into it. So I want to slide down there. The video, which we're not going to show on the show, because it's pretty. It's like watching old school Impact videos or something like that. But thank you. The Kate is great for subbing. Welcome to the STiKS fam. Throw some sub hype in the chat for Kate. But so the video basically is the two of them arguing with each other because Parasite doesn't want to play the objective. Like, it's Slasher telling Parasite that if he plays the objective, the rest of them can slay around him. And Parasite saying that's stupid. If I'm not the first person to the Parasite doesn't want to be censored. He doesn't want to be nade shot. Like that's what they're asking him to do. They're basically saying, and Pat said at least 4 times in the video, if you can't do what I'm asking you to do, which is sit on the hard point and let the rest of us slay around you, then you can go find another team and we'll find another force. You know, and that's what was tweeted out yesterday, and it's all this. I mean, and they were definitely yelling at each other, and I don't think Parasite is at the point in his career where he wants to deal with that. I don't know personally, but I agree with you, Joe, that like that can't continue.
They won't last. It just won't. I mean, it's a ticking time bomb now. But I said, like, I've teamed with Chris, Haggy, Parasite, whatever you want to call him, and even when I teamed with him, we tried really hard. I was like, okay, you know, what do you want to do? All right, we'll play around you. And then it turned into, all right, you know, I was making shot calls. He wanted other shot calls. I was like, okay, you be the shot caller. Yeah. You know, and I tried just giving him what he wanted, and it still didn't work out. And, you know, Pat's not going to let that happen. And so he has to make a choice. Is this the best chance I have at winning champs? I mean, obviously it's something I don't want to do, but he has to see it as, you know what? I have to play this objective role for 2 months. I can win $100,000 and I can move on. So
could he win $100,000? Could Parasite play in OBJ? Like, would that be smart for
He's done it before. He's done it before.
That's what that's why I think FaZe can be really good, because I think Parasite will kind of conform to STiKS. I mean, if he's smart, he will do that. But do you think Haggy is not going to do well on a team if he is not the leader all the way around?
Possibly, but I just, like I said, it's literally up to him. He has 2-3 months. He can settle down, not argue, just listen. It changed his personality. He might not like it. It might be tough for him. He might have to take it out somewhere else, whatever it could be. But he has to figure out if this is his best chance to win $100,000, then he has to do this. And, you know, we all sort of go through that. I mean, anybody would. At this point, all these teams are solidifying. When is the qualifier? 2 weeks away?
Not even 2 weeks.
Not even 2 weeks. Or a week away. 10 days, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like 10 days.
People aren't going to change their rosters now. I mean, they've already put 2 weeks of practice in. You know, losing another 2 weeks is a big deal.
So we're going to take a commercial break in a moment, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Optic Nation, because they have to change their roster, which means there's going to be some other rosters that are probably going to be forced to change. But the question I want to ask before we go to that is Clayster in the right place? And if he's not, where does he belong, and does he join with Apathy and Censor, which looks like the rumor right now that Apathy's saying that they're going to be playing with Proof probably for champs, but Proofy hasn't made the decision. I kind of want to start with Hitch on this question, but is Clayster in the right place, playing with Replays, Cap, and Attach, or is he going to move? Like, is that team not going to work for champs?
It's hard to say this without being biased. I don't know. Like, I think I haven't seen the new Denial team play, to be completely honest. Can anybody give me a brief? Like, how are they playing?
We 3-0'd them this weekend, and then I don't know how they did Sunday. We didn't run into them, but I don't think they've been to a finals or maybe one semifinals. I think lots of top 8s. They've been playing some other tournaments. I think they won a 4v4 hardpoint yesterday, but I haven't seen much of them play. No,
it's kind of in my opinion, the best way to describe it is kind of like inconsistent. But if you look on our overlay on the bottom, it says that it looks like they won their last 2 league matches, and so. But I don't know if LAN wise if they're going to work out. You know, it really depends on who they go up against. Kind of online, I don't agree with everybody that online is so inconsistent. Like Apathy was saying in his video today that it's inconsistent, and so much so that you can't really decide teammates from online play. Because like that Censor team that won the that didn't win the 5K, or they won the 2K, like that pickup team that won against Optic, like you can't build a COD Champs team around that pickup team, in my opinion. And I do agree with him on that, but I don't agree that online is completely insignificant, because the best team that everybody would say is the best LAN team is currently the best online team as well. Like there's not a difference between Optic's winning percentage online and LAN right now. You know, I mean, they got second, first, and then the last 5 2Ks and 5Ks, they've been in the finals of it, and they've won all but one. And so I think that Clayster, I don't think he's in the right place. I think that he is going to make a move, but you know, and I love Robbie and what he's trying to build with Denial, but I think somebody might offer Clayster something better, and that could be Optic Nation. So
that's what I'm thinking. That's why I said I didn't want to sound biased. You don't think it's gonna happen?
I think everybody thought it would happen before the trade break, but
that was like the big thing was if he was going to go somewhere, it would have been for Swanee. But then Proof learned that they were trying to trade him. He was like, "I'm not playing with you. Adios."
oh,
That's what happened.
And then right now, Nation is Damon and Tyler have been playing with Kill and Mir. I mean, they've been playing for the past week with one another, scrimming.
Supposedly, though, Merk, they can't play with Killa and Mir in the league today.
They don't want to play.
They haven't made a trade.
The league doesn't matter. They're playing as a champ
to play with. But that's my question though. Is who they gonna? They got to play with 2 other people today.
Killa. Oh, today? Oh, I don't know.
Optic Nation's got to play with somebody.
They can play with their subs. Yeah,
I think Proof's a good enough guy to know. You know,
to do it.
Yeah, he did it last week. So.
Then he wants to get paid the money too. I mean,
the
money.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a tough spot. I talked to him a little bit where he's like, you know, it kind of sucks. I heard all these different things, and then I heard they wanted to trade me. I mean, I'll be sort of the bigger man, and I'll do what needs to be done, and I won't throw these matches, right? Like that's gonna ruin your career. People are saying they're playing with Proof and Felony, so
yeah, I see.
But I know Damon and Tyler are playing with Kill and Mir, and they've been playing for about the past week, scrimming, tournaments, you name it, they've been doing it.
You think that's going to be their COD Champs team?
At this point, I do. Yeah, and I'll answer your question.
Wow,
I know, that's a strange thing.
Go ahead, Merk.
With Clay, I mean, I think there's a lot of people. You can ask the same question: are they in the right position? But COD Champs and the season and these trades have put all these different players in weird situations where they have to make the best out of it. I mean, the same thing happened with this FaZe team. Same thing happened with us. Everyone's trying to make the best situation. If you look at that Denial team on paper, it's a very talented team. And it's probably, if it's a settled roster, it's probably a top 4 team right now because there isn't 8 other teams. There's 4, there's TK, Prof, Denial, Envy, Optic Gaming, Nation, maybe. Besides that, what else is there right now? There's so many crazy things going on.
Yeah.
The Revenge Squad.
Right. Those guys.
Hey, have you seen the DT? What they're doing in the semi-pro league?
Dream Team, yeah. I mean,
they're 8-0 they have a 23-2 record map count.
Good Lord.
In the semi-pro league.
They do really well every weekend in the 2Ks and 5Ks.
Who's this?
Columbus. At Columbus, they made it to pool play. And Orlando, they made it to pool play. I don't know how they did. But
not too well. But they came so close to qualifying for the league, for the MLS league. And I think there's some teams that are in the league, like Optic Nation, that they would actually be higher than, like ranked-wise. Like, I think they're
probably, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Optic Nation and Swanee and all that kind of stuff. We're going to continue that conversation a little bit, talk about X Games, and, of course, we will be eventually getting to the giveaway of the Scuf and answer your guys' questions for Merk from Twitter. We'll see you guys on the other side of 60 seconds. Thank you for 1,700 or whatever we broke so far on the show.
Robot King.
A cookie.
I want a cookie. Feed the fat kid.
I was supposed to eat this during the break, guys. This is a chocolate chunk cookie, and it goes perfectly with bacon. But I forgot to eat.
That goes perfectly with bacon.
Salt and sweet, huh?
Around the cookie, like
it's a filet min cookie.
Cholesterol in a circle. I don't know. All right, so I kind of want to finish up the roster mania conversation. Apathy talked today that they were considering picking up Proof for the second team that they're trying to build. I guess the question I have for you guys is: are they stuck out of luck, like to just pick up the scraps, kind of like what was the team that did that?
Well, is that FaZe team?
It was you guys, Merk, that ended up picking up the scraps one of the distant roster manias ago when all the players from Optic were going back and forth and all around, and you guys kind of got like. It seemed like you had to wait and just grab who wasn't.
Whoever. It was nameless and
yeah, nameless to study. But is that FaZe team even included Apathy? Because the 2K and 5K team was Classic, Sensor, Study, and Proofy.
Yeah, what happened is that Apathy scrimmed with played with separate players than Sensor, but they've decided that to give them the best chance at COD Champs, they're going to play together.
Okay,
that's what Apathy said. So he said him and Sensor spent an hour talking, and they're going to play together because they have the best chance at COD Champs if they are together. They've won together multiple events, so why not try? And so the question is, who the heck else do they get? Is Proofy even a good pickup for that team? And if they get Proofy, then who else do they need to actually compete with the other teams that you're talking about? Like, that's kind of my question for you guys is, it kind of sucks, and we talked about it last week, but it does suck a lot what happened to Sensor and Apathy. Like, Aches came on, decided he didn't want to play with them, picked up his own little pickup squad, which looks like they're fighting and arguing. And did you say earlier, Joe, that Apathy might go back to the Aches squad?
Well, I mean, I've just been thinking about this. I haven't heard anything, so don't quote me. But I mean, if they have problems with Haggy, like, who else is there? I mean, you brought up Clay, but during the whole roster mania discussion, Pat was very, no, I'm not going to play with Clay, because we had a lot of discussions with Pat. I don't know how that would work. Again, they're looking for an objective player. He could tell Apathy. Apathy is very selfless. He could tell Apathy, hey, listen, just do the objective. You play off your reaction from inside the hill. I don't think it's a bad idea. Apathy is very... if you ask Krim, right, he calls him Peanut Brain because because he doesn't think Apathy is a smart player. Well, if I've never played with Apathy, I don't know. I mean, if he is a peanut brain, why not give the guy one objective, one thing to do, right? He doesn't have to do anything else. Go to the hill, stay alive, and play off your reaction. If you talk to Pat about it, I mean, that's what he calls him. That's what he calls him.
This is going to be the new Kingdom cut, right here. Brain.
If you talk to the Pat...
Apathy edition. Sorry, go.
If you talk to Pat, Apathy is one of the best talented, skilled players he's played with, but he lacks in...
You'd say, like, you're talking about Aches would say that?
Yes, but there's things that bring that stride him away from Apathy, which is like communication. I haven't played, but Pat also says the same thing. Like he sometimes in game he doesn't know what's happening. So if Pat can tell him, go to the hill, like just go to the hill, like he doesn't have to worry about anything else. So, I mean, it could happen. I don't know. It's definitely an option.
Do all of you like? I can't even ask about this peanut brain anymore. I want it, but well, because the thing is that like Apathy he almost was like sad in his video. He talked about the fact that he was actually upset that when he was dropped from FaZe, from the red roster or whatever it's going to be called, the FaZe Aches roster. When he was dropped, so to speak, that nobody like Envy didn't hit him up, Optic Nation didn't hit him up. He was wondering why he wasn't in contention for joining these teams. Like he thinks people underestimate his ability, and he knows that callouts is something he has to work on, because when his team's being overly negative and talking about him a lot, the best thing he decides to do is just not talk, because he may say something stupid, like as opposed to Parasite and Aches, who are like, we'll just scream at each other, whatever, like we don't care. Or Krim's the same way. Like he's not afraid to talk negatively in game. Karma is the exact same way. They'll yell and not really care that much that they're yelling. But do you think there's no option at all of Apathy ending up on Nation?
On Nation? I don't know. I don't think so. I guess there is, but like I said, like, why would Damon and Tyler spend a week scrimming, practicing? You're building up some sort of chemistry. Like, these teams have now 10 days. Like, why waste 7 of those playing with the team, building up some sort of chemistry, playing tournaments, scrimming, and then like, screw this. This isn't going to work. Maybe things have changed, but each day is really important to these teams from here on out.
Yeah, I agree. Stephen Duval. He might be a previous Stephen Duval. He might be a previous sub. Thank you for subbing. Your subscription has got us to the point where we're gonna get 2 more emotes. So
hitching a fatty,
a beard, a big old,
a beard and a Jufro.
A big. Why don't we just do one character that has a beard and a Jufro? Like,
that'd be too much. That's called a Sasquatch.
Actually, I live in the Northwest, so Sasquatches are talked about a lot. Like, that's where the Sasquatch was supposedly spotted.
Or a fat squatch. Fat.
I'm not gonna laugh. I'm
sorry.
Not even gonna laugh at it.
I'll mute myself.
So, let's switch over to the Optic Nation conversation since we're kind of already in it. I guess one of the questions I had on here that I kind of want to ask you guys, and I'll start with Fatty, is like, is this team, the Optic Nation that has struggled with their last 2 rosters, do they still have the Optic juice that will basically any player that's offered will go there?
I would say, yeah. I mean, it's part of Optic. I mean, the juice is real. It's just they got to put in the work. Like, I don't really see any of them putting out, the content, and maybe that's because they are struggling. They're trying to build that chemistry, but at least they were streaming. I mean, I would watch them stream, and I think that's great. But I think they also, just getting into Optic, that's like just the first step. You still gotta build yourself, and that's build your YouTube, build your streaming, build everything. And it's all about your self-branding, and I think that's what you see Nate and Scump do. They got their own clothing, their logo lines or whatever. I would like to see a little bit more of that from the Optic Nation squad.
That's what I liked, actually, that Clayster put out his like hoodies and stuff, like his Clay apparel. I'd love to have like Merk put out some like handsome Merk shirts or something.
Yeah, why not? Where is that?
Soon.
Oh, all right. I just think
I want to see handsome Merk shirts in green.
If we can get a 30.
Hashtag Intel.
Wait a minute.
We back, baby. We back.
Oh man, I think if we can sell 33 STiKS live shirts, I think Merk can sell plenty of
probably 33,000.
No, I don't think so.
You never know.
Ooh, all right. Alex, I just read your DM. Looks good. I'll respond in a moment. So Intel. Nobody gets to see it.
That sucks.
Hashtag Optic Merk, the return. Better with Merk. What would you guys? Oh, I can't even say this. Can I say this on the air? Like, Hex watches every show, but how much of an explosion would it be in the COD community if the reverse happened and Optic dropped nade shot and picked up Merk?
Yeah.
Like, how explosive would that
be? I would be scared for Merk's sake. Like,
all of the Optic fans would be just die, Merk, die.
People need to X-ray his mail as it comes in and sure.
Didn't have anthrax.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be like, "Hey, Scump, taste this first."
I like how Joe tried to stay out of laughing.
Yeah.
I've blocked enough people. I'm not trying to hear more death threats. Good
enough. Hitch, your opinion, I know you're biased or whatever, but your opinion on Optic Nation, do they still have the same juice that would get anybody from another team? If they offer it, they'll take it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If Optic is in your name, I don't think anybody who has been on Optic Nation, the organization, the brand, whatever, except for Bose, has taken advantage of what Optic is. Nobody has. They just view it as another team. And I think Karma's starting to.
I think Karma and Teep. They both stream a lot, and they both, Damon puts out his like crazy highlight clips with squirrels in them and all that stuff.
I think like people. the joke on like the Optic Reddit and everything is that like he's slowly losing his mind lately, karma. But it's just because he's trying to be entertaining.
Yeah.
I was going
So
to
yeah,
say that's called being a parent.
But as far as the last Optic Nation, especially with Killa and everybody, like nobody took advantage of it except for Bose. So I still think yes, that it definitely has the juice, and if anybody wants to actually make this a career, they could do it. I just burped.
What about you,
That
Merk?
was weird.
I mean, absolutely. I mean,
100%.
I mean, they're doing it, and I mean, not only are you getting optic juice, you're teaming with 2 world champions. I mean, that's the big picture here. Obviously, they can't focus on. I mean, I'm the same way. I can't focus on as much content as I would like because these past 3 weeks have been so stressful. I mean, you're just like, and then now that I'm finally playing with the team, like, yes, I'll start putting out content again, and that's what these guys are worried about. They want to be the best. That's still their number one goal is to win. Yeah. And when you have Teep, when you have Damon, he's got 2 championship rings. Teep has another one. I mean, if they went up to a duo of 2 or even a top player and said, play with our champs team, I would be very surprised if people said no.
So, well, let me ask you this then, and I'm going to start with you on this question. Is like, Swanee left, went back to the EU, played in the 2K and 5K over there, won both of them with this roster of Josh, Madcat, him, and Tommy, which is rumored to be the new Epsilon. But I don't know if PD's been officially dropped. Supposedly it's been tweeted, but I don't know if it's official yet. So my question is, like, why didn't that roster work? Like, if, like you said, they've got these world champions on there, why have they not been successful? Like, what was wrong with that roster?
Shot caller. I don't think either of those guys have any in-game leadership at all. I mean, I really don't. They might have a lot of in-game experience, but especially I've teamed with Damon, I've teamed with Proof. They're 2 pawns. You put them in positions, and they're going to kill everything for you. Swanee, he's not going to speak up. He's got this crazy opportunity in his head. He's like, I gotta go positive or I'm getting dropped. So that's what he was probably thinking. Like, I gotta perform. And then Teep, I mean, people would probably say Teep, if there was an in-game leader, it would be him. But I just don't. He can't be tough on people. You just watch him, and he's too nice of a guy. Throughout the past 2-3 years, he had Krim, he had Pat to listen to, and he just did what he needed to do. They would say, all right, Teep, like, flank, and he would just do it, and he was the best at it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is there's no in-game leadership really, and there was nobody to sort of, I don't know, but for me personally, outside of streaming, we put hours upon hours into private matches just going over stuff. I don't know if that extra push, sort of like what Fatty was talking about, was there. So I don't know. But watching them, I would say in-game leadership, that would probably be the problem. And then just this game's different. People could say the same thing about our first Envy lineup. Like, why isn't this working? It just doesn't make any sense. But it's something with this game. It sounds
like Nation needs like a veteran player that has been around for a long time, to really be a part of it.
What is happening?
Hold on, I gotta take a phone call.
Are you translating Hitch to him saying, well, the problem is they don't have Joey. Like, they just don't have Merk on their team. Like, I think to be honest with you, Merk, like, I agree with what you're saying, but here's the question. How in the world, if that's the truth, how does Killa and Miracles joining that team get any better? Like, how do they improve?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Killa has a little bit more input.
On S&D, yeah, he's not going to be better.
I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe they've learned what they needed. Maybe they make it more of a sort of like group thing. But I honestly don't know. That couldn't be the problem. But to me, I feel like that's a problem. Like, I feel like there has to just be someone to control the team. Like, someone has to be tough on one another. If you see a mistake, like, yell at that person for it. Like, dude, don't do that shit again. Like, just don't do it. And if that's gonna cause an argument with Damon or with Proof, Oh,
Yeah.
well, it has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing when you're losing in tournaments. You know, the past few weekends, like, we've gotten, like, top 4 in, like, 2 of the 2Ks and 5Ks and, like the quarterfinals, the other half. Am I happy about it? No, but the progress that we've made, I already feel like the team I'm on now is probably better than the one I've played with the first 2 months because of just how things are working out. It's just weird. And I think once they find that right group, that right combination of players, they'll know. So it's just I think it has to be TP to step up, but
That's what
maybe
Golden Boy just
it's
said.
Killa. Maybe it's Killa, maybe it's Mira.
So-
I don't know. Maybe it's a group thing.
Let me okay, I want to move on from this conversation. We may have to skip the X Games conversation, or maybe we'll come back to it. But whoa, Hitch is like, no.
We'll just extend the show. We'll talk all night.
Well, we go into overtime like every show. But so here's my question, guys. Make sure you tweet out the stream. We just broke 2K. Our record is like 2,100 and something. I don't know exactly. So if you tweet out, then we'll just break it for sure. Oh, it just dropped down to 1,900.
You cursed it.
All right, so here's my question: does this roster work? And you guys can say yes or no. And if it doesn't, in your opinion, what roster does work for ON? I'll start with Fatty, TP, Karma, Parasite, and Apathy, or Censor. No, Censor ain't playing on Optic. Let's just say Apathy. TP, Karma, Parasite, because he can be the vocal leader, and Apathy. Fatty, does that roster work?
No, because we saw this a little while ago when Karma and Parasite came back together for like 2 seconds, and they don't get along. I mean, Karma's not going to listen to him anymore.
How many people in the community get along with Parasite?
That's the thing. Like, Parasite just wants his way, man. Like, and I understand. I mean, he's a champion. He thinks he knows what's right, and I think that's really what needs to change with him. Is he needs to change his attitude, man. He just needs to buckle down and take a sit back, and I think he's on the perfect team to do that with right now. Just take a sit back, relax, sit in the dang hill, and win $100,000. At least top 4, 3, or whatever. But with that, I don't think that works. Okay. I think Censor would be a better person on that team than Parasite.
Optic trash can. Just joking. All right, Hitch, you're up.
Jeez, man.
What are your thoughts on that squad?
Nah, I don't think that squad works. Just because the same reason. I haven't seen like Karma and Parasite are like they don't get along at all. We saw that when Impact like played together for like 30 minutes a couple of months ago or a month ago. So I just don't see that working. And anybody, in my opinion, anybody's gonna keep Karma over Parasite. I think Parasite's an amazing player in this game, but I still think it's a no-brainer. Who's gonna win that battle? So I don't know. I don't know what they need.
Merk, what are your thoughts on that squad?
It could definitely be successful. Like you said, if they allow Haggy to sort of be that leader, I mean, then you have the relationship with Damon. That's the only step back because I feel like Teep. I mean, look at the teammates he dealt with for how many years? He dealt with Pat, he dealt with Krim. Like, that's not easy to do. Like, he'll just sit back, relax, and if you ever watch Teep stream, put a smile on and shake his head.
Yep.
Apathy, same way. You guys talked about it. They're used to whatever. They'll avoid arguments. I think the only issue there is Haggy and Damon. But it could definitely it could work. I mean,
someone in the chat said Hex would never make a sleeveless Optic shirt.
Oh, sorry. Wow,
you're fine. I mean, and then obviously T plays that objective role, which I think was sort of that issue with Nation was they were like making proof play objective or T play objective. They couldn't find that identity, and then. So it could work. It definitely could. But the big question is Damon and Haggy, how they fit. But it comes down to the same thing. If that could be a team, do they put things aside for 2.5 months, 3 months, change things up, and compete? But I don't know.
So, I mean, I guess there are players, and Merk, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but aren't there players that you just have to deal with their negativity if you want to win? Like sometimes, like
Oh,
team
absolutely.
with certain people, you kind of take the good with the bad, and it's like these people that actually have been going after Aches when he was available. Optic knew that Krim, although he wasn't Aches, he definitely, and he still does it. Him and Nade kind of, go back and forth sometimes. Like
Yeah.
Krim definitely states his opinion and can get really upset when things don't go their way as a team. Right. They start losing. Krim's gonna say something. He's not just gonna remain silent. And so,
all right, dumbasses, let's go.
Yeah, well, it's like I wouldn't have died if somebody would have called out. And it's like we did say something. We didn't know where he was. And he's like, whatever. It's like there's an attitude that he has, and I think it comes sometimes with players that know that they're really, really, really good. Like Formal could act that way, but he doesn't. Like he's a very positive player, even though he's really good at the game. And that's one of the things I appreciate about him as a player. Karma has that attitude. Parasite has that attitude. I'm not saying Parasite's in that company. S&D wise on AW, he's one of the best. He's played extremely well in that game type. And he's really smart in this game. Like his I don't know if he's always been like that. I didn't feel like he was that player in Ghost, but his understanding of the game is really high. His COD IQ right now for Advanced Warfare. And so I think like Parasite's one of those guys that if Optic Nation got him because Aches was like, get off our team, we'll take someone else because you won't do what we want you to do. And like you said, maybe they'll try to get Apathy. At some point, I think players have to stand up for themselves. And if I was Apathy, I'd say no. Like, I'd just be like,
yeah, right. Like, dude, I'll beat your ass. Like,
I'm tired of this abuse. Like, stop. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I see you on LAN, we're gonna be in the same room so that we can fight, and then we're gonna, you may have a black eye instead of a broken thumb, but we'll play together. It's like I just like Apathy gets abused, and yes, he makes some mistakes, but the stuff that I hear his teammates say, it's like almost like they just pick on him, like because he takes it, like you said about TP, like, and then Krim surprisingly let Aches pick on him for multiple years.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of players like that. I think the big three, I mean, you have to look at Aches, at Karma, at Krim. I mean, all three of those players can very easily turn a team into a championship team.
Yeah.
Every single one. But you know what you have to deal with. All right, Pat? Well, you'll get him until COD Champs. After that, I don't know. Maybe he'll show up to the tournament. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll practice. Maybe he doesn't. Krim, you're going to have to deal with him raging at you. You're going to have to deal with him raging at the game, raging at, I mean, just watch a stream on a tournament. Like, he'll say some witty comments at people. And then Karma, I mean, if Karma doesn't feel like his team is going to win, he's going to let the whole community know it by pulling out dual LMGs and posting them up in the corner. Like, he doesn't care. If he doesn't have confidence in his teammates, and he feels that my team doesn't listen to me, you're done. You're screwed because he just won't care anymore. And he tried really hard with the new nation when they picked up Swanee. They tried really hard for 2 or 3 weeks every day to sort of get on, be motivated. We're going to get better today. And they would join a tournament and it would go downhill and then he'd be pissed and that's just what it was.
Yeah. And that, in my opinion, they have to get a shot caller on that team to be successful. That's it. There's no Miracles, Killa, Karma, and Teep, in my opinion, doesn't work because when the negativity starts to fly, maybe between it could be between Miracles. I mean, Miracles has his own very loud voice. Like Miracles will speak up when he feels like it's time for him to complain about something, and there's no shortage of him and Killa, the duo, like them arguing with Karma, going back and forth. Like, is TP gonna step up and say, "Knuckle up, let's play"? And I think that's what I've seen from Formal more than anybody else on the current Optic squad is that I'll hear Krim complaining about something, or Nade and Krim going back and forth, or Nade complaining about connection, and Krim will agree or something like that. Scump will just kind of sit there like,
Yeah, Scump
you
doesn't say
know,
anything.
like I'm just gonna slay when the game starts. You know, I'm having fun over here. You know, Scump is cool because he reminds me of a little kid. Like he actually has this childish presence. Like he just is like, I'm so lucky to be doing this, and he's just like, let's go, boys. And it's like after they just are like yelling and cussing at each other. But Formal will be like, all right, guys, all right, let's just focus up. Let's focus up. We can still win this. And that resilience is what won them the tournament on Sunday, even though they, based on everybody else, should have lost. All right, so, well, because they were down 2-0, they could have lost. We're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to do questions from Twitter and the Envy Scuf giveaway, and then we'll end the show. We will try to have to talk about CSGO.
Oh my god.
How many of those things you got over there?
This is all I have. No envy on it.
That's dirty.
My Smurf Scuf. I love it.
Smurf.
Yeah, Merk has a lot of envy Scufs. Maybe we should give away more.
I got 2. I need a replacement in case they break.
Now, didn't I hear that you guys get one when you go into like regionals, like to prepare for regionals? You'll get
Usually we do. Usually we get a brand new one, but they usually send out 2 at the beginning of the year because, I mean, people change up their settings, but usually you sort of don't after you've been using a Scuf for so long. Usually send out 1 or 2 for a replacement backup. I mean, because of what happened with Haggy last year at Scuf with his Scuf.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
At regionals, his stick broke in his bag.
Stick broke, yeah.
And
that's why you put it in the case.
It was I don't think they had cases then.
Well, who was it that called him? Somebody called him a detriment for that. I think it was Aches.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was that said like, "Well, you should have handled it better." And he was like, "It was in my bag. It just broke." they were kind of like fun of him about it. But
I mean, if you don't know if like a stewardess on the airplane picks up your bag, throws it up top. I mean, you just don't know. Or but nowadays, Scuf's basically at every tournament, so they're there. But before that, wasn't.
I'm just looking at the chat. Sorry. All right, we'll be back, guys, on the other side of 60 seconds.
We haven't gone to a break yet?
Questions from Twitter and the Scuf giveaway. Peace. No, we haven't gone to a break.
It's amazing.
Okay, hold up. I don't see this tweet. Somebody linked me the tweet. Somebody said something. I got a DM from someone that's saying that FaZe is making a game, an actual first-person shooter. Or they're heavy investors in a first-person shooter. I see it, ICAS project. Somebody tweeted at me if you can find information on it, and maybe we'll talk about it on the show. So, all right, before we go to the Indie Scuf giveaway, we're going to do a couple of questions from Twitter. I don't know if Goalie has these. They're in his DMs, but I didn't put them in the chat like I normally do.
He's like, oh, crap.
He's probably having a heart attack.
We forgot to mention Cine Gang. Thank you for following.
Thank you.
Subbing.
Welcome to the STiKS fam, Cine Gang 17. All right, so the first question is for Joey DeLuca. Since you and Kingdom discussed old rosters in the 1v1, this comes from Dre Dog. What has been your favorite Envy roster that you've been on?
Favorite Envy roster? Oh, man. I would probably say me, Nameless, Formal, and JCap. Just the instant success we had. I mean, we 2 championships, a 2nd place, a 4th place. You know, I mean, we just put together a really all-around team, really good all-around team. I mean, it's really hard to say that one or me, Nameless, Study, and Rambo because of the miraculous COD Champs run. I put those 2 neck and neck with one another.
How much of that COD Champs run had to do with you wanting to beat Optic?
Dude, you have no idea how often Kingdom brings this up.
I do, all the time.
He brings this up.
I think it was one of the crowning moments of your life. That's what it looked like. When you were standing on that stage.
You did look really happy.
It looked like you had this, like...
Trying to avoid death threats tonight, man. God dang it. Ay. You don't understand, man. You don't get it. You don't
like,
get
I'm
it.
going to get a package in the mail, and I'm not going to know if I can open it or not.
You don't like me. I get death threats on the daily, dude. Come on.
All right, we'll move on from that.
No, it's not. Yeah. Go ahead.
It just looked like honestly, and I'll say this to your face because I said it on the show. You probably didn't see it. But one of the things I said is that Envy may have struggled after that, because you guys got 6-0'd or something like that, you know, it's like you may have struggled after that because it looked like you were nervously happy. Like you almost, it was like a moment where you were like, okay, I almost made it to the top of the mountain. Like, what's left? And you guys still had to win, but it seemed like you were already accomplished in that moment because, and you said it, you know, you're like, they dropped me, and now, you know.
Hey guys, this is Goalie. I'm the producer of the STiKS. I don't know what's going on. I think Fatty just lost connection. So sorry about that. We are going to play some music, try and get everything set up and ready to go. So sorry about this, guys. We will be ready to go, hopefully, as soon as possible.
I know what you would have done. We back.
We're back, I guess.
Sorry about that. My wife tripped the breaker.
No, your wife is part of the green wall. I mean, that's
she was like in the background making death threats to Joe. She's all that Merk.
We talk about Optic losing at Champs, and this is what happens. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is the next question from Twitter. So I gotta find my. All right, this goes from @res_architect, and he said, "Would you ever consider going into coaching like Rambo or Big T and build a big like YouTube and streaming fan base?"
I don't know if our esport is solidified enough for coaching and analyzing games for teams. Other esports have it. League of Legends has it. Dota has it. They travel with the team. That person, they watch tons of VODs. I would love to do it for a team, but obviously it would have to come with the right price. It's something that we're just going to have to grow into as an esport with coaching and analysts, because it's just, like I said, someone has to devote so much time to it. Would it help a team tremendously? Absolutely. I'm sure it would be amazing, especially because we don't have theater anymore.
Well, look at Mr. X. I mean,
right. So would I do it? Yeah. I love teaching people Call of Duty. That's really what I base my YouTube around. Unfortunately, theater mode isn't around anymore, so it's really, really difficult to do that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if it was developed enough, but I'd really like to go into like being like an analyst on a stream. I think that would be like a really good career path. Well, next step, because I think I know a lot more about the game than a lot of people do. So that would be a lot of fun.
No, you do, and I think it's pretty awesome that Rambo got his job over at Sledgehammer. I think that's pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. Is he? Well, no, never mind. Let me not ask you that because you can't answer that. I just know that when I asked him some questions, he was very. I can't really talk about.
Yeah, he's so secretive.
Like, well, it's not. It's. I mean, I'll tell you guys after the show.
Yeah.
Well, not as much as I can. Yeah.
Rambo, don't worry. He's not gonna like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say what I'm not supposed.
He's sending us your contract that you signed with them.
Yeah, but I mean, that worked out really well for him.
Yeah,
and obviously, like his game knowledge took him somewhere. I mean, that would be great for me to do, but he also had to sacrifice a lot, move out to California.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm willing to do that yet. I don't know. I'll figure it out sooner or later.
What do you mean by an analyst on a stream? You mean like ESR, like Mr. X and Benson type analyst? Like,
do any of you guys watch like StarCraft at all?
I do not.
Any of you? Have you ever heard of like Day 9? You ever watch Day 9? All right, so with Day 9, Day 9 is like a YouTuber, analyst, caster. Basically, what he does is like he'll cast a tournament, right? Or there'll be tournaments going on, and when the VODs release, he downloads them because you can do that. PC, Master Race, whatever. And he can watch those games. And what he does is he streams. He streams those games and goes through that player's like thought process, right? Like I would love to, let's just go to Black Ops 2, right? Say Complexity Impact stream or had a tournament match. I could import those files, like those games, stream them or make a video out of them, go into theater mode and watch those, and I could be like, all right, Crim6 did this because of this.
Yeah.
Karma did this here because of this. Like, this team push worked because of this. That's really what I would love to do. I want to dissect the game into people as much as possible.
Well, there's a guy. Have you heard of War Owl?
No.
He's a big YouTuber for CS, and he takes competitive play and breaks it down. But because on CS you have, the stuff you can do is ridiculous. You know, like seeing what weapons they're using. You can fly across the map with a grenade and all that craziness. But then he also does a series, which I think would be dope for you to do. But on this game without theater, it kind of sucks. But he takes submitted gameplay from viewers and breaks down what they did right and wrong. Like, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do that. I mean, I could do that from one point of view, but it's really hard to, like, cut it to where I, like, replay the situation, and so the same situation over and over again. Like, that's just a lot of editing, and I really don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, that's literally what I want to do. A lot of people ask me why I don't post a lot of YouTube content. I just want... I love the game. Like, I want people to learn. I want people to understand competitive Call of Duty. If I'm that bridge to do that, that's amazing. But it's really hard to do that with the tools that we don't have. Like I said, like if I could download COD Champs finals this year and then like go over them in a YouTube video, you know, and like draw lines on the mini map and show why they did this push, why they threw a smoke here, why, you know, just stuff like that. Like I would love to do that.
Well, Black Ops 2 was like, I mean, I used to make these videos, even though I'm horrible, but I used to make these videos called Pro Tips. It actually helped grow my channel a lot because I would put the little mini map on the screen. I would go into theater mode and go from every different angle, and you could, I mean, there's just so much you could do with theater. On this game, though, theater would be pretty difficult to do, but Halo's done it. Even though they have, you know, the same type of like all the jumping and all that, even they don't have the boosting and stuff. But with Halo,
well, I've heard the big thing with theater is it creates a theater lag throughout the whole entire game, and that's why they don't input it.
That's what people said about Black Ops 2, like turn off record or something, and it would help your connection or something like that. Like
and supposedly that's a reason why they don't keep putting the game is because not only do you have to like put it inside there, but it creates
a huge amount of lag for the
within
whole
their
system.
Network. Yeah. Wow.
I guess that makes sense. I mean,
so,
yeah.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Fatty. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, it seemed like every other game's had the lag anyways. So, like, I don't know. Ghost felt like it was way laggier to me than Black Ops 2 ever did. That's me. I don't know. I'm not a pro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... I would have to go back and play it. I really don't remember it being that huge of a thing, but...
Yeah.
Like I said, theater would be amazing, or any sort of like way I could like input like download like the caster's view from a match and like pause and rewind. Obviously, that would be difficult to do, but yeah, because I think a lot of people have to see a situation over and over and over and over and over again
to really analyze it. Yeah.
Right. So
I agree, and especially with a game that's this fast paced, like a lot of times stuff happens and then the casters. They can't even talk about what really happened because it was so quick. You know, it was like
especially this
somebody naded him from I hear pro players that are top tier saying things like, "I got shot from somewhere. I don't know where I got shot from."
Yeah.
Like
it's always in the back.
It's that fast paced. Like they don't even know where these nades are coming from. It's like somebody naded me from somewhere, maybe orange. I don't know. You know, I think it's got to be hard for you guys. I don't know how you keep up with callouts and stuff like that, but.
Yeah, I mean, you look at pro players. It's tough for them too to even keep up with the game. I would like a higher standard from our casters, but I understand that we don't have the leagues and the funds to do that right now. But hopefully soon.
Wait, back up. A higher
standard
from the casters. Is that
yes, yes. I do not think our casters are good at all. I think our casters are low tier in esports.
All right. Well, do you think it's that they don't get a good enough salary to pay enough attention to do as much research as is needed to do the job?
That could be it, or it could be that. I think Benson's probably the only one that actually plays the game. I don't know. Besides that, there's many others. Fatty plays. Besides that,
Fatty went like 2-27 against Eggs.
I don't think they're knowledgeable enough to know and understand things. I mean, a lot of these casters don't even know players. I mean, I'll hear them just clarifying things about a person. And when you say one thing to 50, 75,000 people, that's going to stick in their head, and that creates wrongdoings for players. So I would love for more leagues to open up where they can hire full-time casters, where these casters can watch the games. If you look at Ghost, the most knowledgeable casters in Ghost were Maven and Gandhi, because every single night during the first season, UGC streamed 2 or 3 matches, and they watched 2 to 3 matches a night every single week.
Do you think that's helping, like Benson and Mr. X were sitting at?
Absolutely. I think I think those two are the tippity top right now. But I would obviously have to watch a rebroadcast and whatever. I understand this game; it's very difficult to what you said, how quick it's going. But hopefully our casters improve over time.
Oh man, you got quoted.
By who?
Some random dude. Twitter.
I want to see. I know there's a lot of things behind this, but I really want to see Golden Boy back eventually in my lifetime.
Agreed.
I mean, it's not even Golden Boy. I mean, if you look at Counter-Strike, you look at StarCraft. All right, we'll just take Counter-Strike because it's booming right now. I watch a lot of Counter-Strike. They have 3 to 4 different leagues. They have like Star Ladder. They have Room on Fire. They have all these different leagues and each league has 2 to 3 casters that they full-time hire. And it's just insane. So
that's a good point. And when that's your job, you're gonna give everything to it.
Yeah. You're gonna talk to players. And you're just gonna keep doing this. So,
well, that's a good point. I agree. I think that I would probably get flamed by the casters that are my homies for saying that they are not the greatest. However, I do feel like this is the reason why I'm not a caster. People ask me that, you need to become a caster. And I remember the first time Puckett hit me up, we talked on Skype, and he was like, so what do you want to do? I was like, number one, I'm not casting, And
it sucks, dude.
His thing was, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want casters. I want analysts. I want people that are going to be able to talk about gameplay and players, but not necessarily sit at a desk and cast. And I said, well, I can only do so much because now I just study well. That's what I pride myself on, is like, when I get caster sheets, the same things they give to the casters before an event, I like read the heck out of them before I go on ESR or whatever. And I just think that it's tough, but I couldn't be a caster if I didn't play this game even more than Fatty, and he plays a lot. Like, I'd have to play this game a lot more. And the most Call of Duty I've ever played was Black Ops 2. I mean, I played it ridiculous. I mean, I just played for hours and hours a day just because I love that game in every game type, and I was making videos like crazy. But I think casters, like you said, they have to play, but then they also have to become knowledgeable about players. They have to watch different players' streams, and I try to do that. I try to keep up with YouTube. I try to keep up with Twitch and MLG.TV, but it has to be your job. Like, you can't keep up with all of it,
And I'm not saying the casters are bad, but if you compare them to other esports, their knowledge levels are so much lower. They don't. It's just out of this world, the difference. I mean, it's just what it is.
It seems like all COD casters look for is a good voice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's more than a good voice. It's more than an entertainer. That's why you see somebody like TP, who has a lot of knowledge of the game. Everybody loves when TP casts, or everybody loves when Rambo casts.
They learn things when they play, and that's the thing is, that's just what it is. Is they enjoy hearing that analysis, and it just seems like casters can't supply that right now.
It seems like what casters need is a good veteran player that has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I need. But and part of it is it's really hard, like, to think about the game as it's going on, and process that through your brain before the next thing happens in this game. And I think that's one of the things that's going on. I mean, honestly, it's so hard.
Yeah.
At least for me, because I talk slow. I do everything slow. So it takes me like 5 minutes just to say what I'm trying to say now, let alone trying to do it while a game's going on. And
People are
you know what I
extra
mean?
boosting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I understand that. And that's kind of like I haven't been casting as much lately because one thing, I just find it really hard. And I'd rather talk about it like this than cast over it, honestly.
Well, and I think that's why MLG at Columbus introduced the analyst desk, because how quick it was. Because how quick it is for the casters. They can't go back and look at it. But, they had Rambo at the analyst desk. They had, like, Mud Dog there. I don't know who else was there, but, I think it's a really good step in the right direction because they're not able to see those certain plays live, like what actually did just happen, but it helps as much as it can.
So the last question before we go into the giveaway, which we're going to do next. So make sure you guys are tweeting out the stream. Actually, you're probably like, no, I don't want anybody else in here. The last question comes from Uncooked, and he asks, sorry, goalie, because I know I skipped one, but we basically answered it. Did you hear his sigh? He's like, and the question is, biggest team to worry about for COD Champs besides Optic?
To me?
Yeah.
If I knew half the teams, I could tell you. I mean,
oh my.
If you take away gaming, that sort of puts, I guess, FaZe. I mean, the talent they have is really high. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. You have to, because similar to what I talked about earlier, like the more times you see something with the similar players, like that's chemistry, and those mistakes that are happening, they aren't going to be made again. When these teams are making teams now, it's going to be really difficult for them to like keep up. Maybe TK. I think TK has a really good shot at doing really well because they've stuck together through all this stuff. So I would probably say, if I had to put it right now, I'd probably go with FaZe. You just can't get against Pat.
Yeah. It's hard to bet against
maybe,
that guy.
I think I honestly would put FaZe even higher if there was sort of maybe like an apathy stepping in for Haggy with the issues that could happen.
I'm gonna ask you this question and you don't have to answer it.
Go ahead.
It's not about Optic, don't worry. So is there, or who was the team when you guys were talking, because you said there was a bit where you guys were talking to STiKS. Can you say what the possible roster was?
I could tell you all 12 of them if you want. All right, so really with the whole roster sort of mania speculation was there were a lot of duos. Renato, Zuma, our team, Envy, we all sort of said, do whatever you want. Nobody really do it up. Ant left for a little bit. He left for a little bit. It was going to be like me, Clay, Enable, in a fourth. It was going to be me, JCap, Enable, and Clay. It was going to be, I went with Renato, Zuma, Enable, and then it was going to be STiKS, Enable, me, and a fourth. It was really around Saints, Zuma, Enable, and STiKS. Those were like the main sort of four people that really had a lot of say in things. And what sort of happened was all these crazy things were happening, and nobody knew if any of their teams were going to work out. We didn't know if Enable was going to join us. We didn't know if STiKS was going to dip on us. But the biggest thing was we wanted a Season 1 team. So a lot of people were trying different trades to get trades as quick as possible. And Justice wasn't letting Enable trade without these players of ours or whatever it was. So as soon as we saw an opportunity, a really stellar opportunity with Saints and Zuma, we took it because we're like, all right, we have a Season 1 team and we can practice because we're just wasting time now.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, why did you drop Clay? He was the best. Why did you drop Cap? Like, he's like your best friend. It was like, we all agreed weeks before, about a day or two after Orlando, like this team it's just not working. It's not a skill thing. It's not a personality thing. We just didn't mix together. So we were all kind of like, all right, maybe we'll try a few more times to figure this thing out. But if you want to go somewhere, like go do whatever you want to do so we can figure out what we want to do. So, you know, it wasn't anything against anybody. It's just sort of we found an opportunity and we took one as soon as we could.
Well, that's smart because now there's these players that are left like, and I feel bad for a team like Just who's going to end up like, well, who's left? You know, that we can grab. Like, can we get Ricky? Can we get Bose? Like, you know, what kind of team can we form? Because their champs team is not going to be the quality of the team they started with in the league, which was
They're not
a
even
pretty
going
good
to send a
squad.
team to champs.
Right.
Really?
Nope.
Are you sure? Did Rick say that?
Almost 100% positive.
They're not even going to try to qualify for COD Champs?
No, because you got 2 players that don't even want to play with them, and that's their like 2-star players, really.
But I'd recruit an AM team. Like, I'd get a semi.
But you got to think about it from their point of view. They have to put up all the money to send them there, and then they already know they're gonna lose because it's gonna be a last minute pickup team going up against Optic or FaZe or Envy, and it's just not going to work out. So,
well, you get.
I would imagine
you get 32K for like 8th place, don't you? I mean,
I would imagine Rick's just trying to keep his league spot right now, which I would, you know, with Slacked and Classic maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think as long as you have 2 players, they have that spot. So Enable got traded to FaZe, and then, who was the Mochilla's still there as well.
Yeah.
So Mochilla and Classic could still end up having a Justice team, but Slacked obviously is too young, and that's sort of where that whole thing messed up. So,
well, I think like the way Apathy, and we're gonna do the giveaway in a second, guys. I think Apathy was talking about them potentially getting Classic, and so the FaZe making 2 teams and now them having 2 teams and Optic having 2 teams, that FaZe making 2 teams, and same thing like Justice when they had Killa, Ricky, I don't remember who else was on that team, but then Optic made 2 teams and basically took all those players. And then now FaZe has made 2 teams, and so Justice's players are kind of in the open. One of them got taken to the first FaZe team, and then a couple more of them are going to get taken to the other FaZe team. And so I think Rick is going to get left out there maybe for champs, but I would, because when, Joe, did you say they pay for you? When does Activision pay? Is it just to the main tournament or to regionals?
Yeah, it's just to champs, not to regionals.
Regionals you fund yourself.
Right, I believe so. Okay. I could be wrong, actually. I think regionals last year was they pay for hotel, not flights. So,
why are people typing Maven's name? Is he in the chat?
Yeah, yes. Maven's in the chat.
Yes, I'm not the oldest person here anymore.
But I think
he's
that's
younger than we are, Kingdom.
I know.
Do you think like soon because in other esports right now what they're doing is they're banning companies from having more than 1 team in a league. Like what was happening in Korea was there was like Samsung, SK Telecom, they were having 2 to 3 teams in these Korean pro leagues, and it was just creating a whole mess. So I don't know if next season MLG is going to only allow 1 team per organization, but obviously that creates a lot of chaos.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another time. That's definitely a conversation to be had because I'm sure there's some team owners that would push against that. But there would be more quality teams, you know, if those players were spread out. If TP and Karma had to be on some other team, if Apathy and Sensor had to be on some other team, some other organization, then you're just spreading out the number of organizations in the scene. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Maven's coming in to try to. What if Maven came in and won the Scuf?
Then we'd give it to somebody else.
All right, here's what we're gonna do, guys. What is Fatty putting in the chat? Muscle. Oh my god.
Shirtless Optic shirts.
Is that
sleeveless?
That really exists. Sleeveless
Optic shirts.
Exist.
Trash can's good.
So they were planning for Sensor to be on Optic Gaming. All right. So so here's how we're gonna do the giveaway, guys. For those of you that are watching the chat. What? Oh, that's the person. How do you say their name?
It's MLG Formula.
Wow! Thanks for announcing for me, Fatty. Jeez. Gosh. No drum roll, no just
drum roll it.
It's too late now. All right, you guys
Oh,
can stop typing. Now the chat's gonna die.
You asked how to pronounce it.
MLG Formula, wherever you are, I can't see you, but
he actually watches like every week too.
The winner of the Envy Scuf. We're gonna need your information.
Who won?
MLG Formula.
Gosh dang it, Benson!
Why are you laughing? Do you know this person? I don't like that giggle I just heard out of Merk.
Well, that's my second account, bro. Send you my info.
You said you needed a new one. So, goalie, do they have to send the? Do they have to message the show?
Okay, I'm just gonna tell
goalie will send you a message.
So, Formula, I'm gonna send you a message on Twitch DMs. Make sure to watch out for that, and we will get your information, and we will send you out the Envy Scuf. So,
can we start like a new tradition? Can we start a new tradition on the STiKS?
Sure.
Where like anytime the stream ever hears goalie, they have to like freak out like they're terrified. Like they're just absolutely scared. Like who is this? Where's this voice coming from? That's what I want to happen.
People are scared, probably. You want us to freak out or the people watching?
People watching? Oh.
Hitch, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh. Who do you want to freak out?
The whole chat.
Oh, you want the chat to freak out?
Yeah, I want the chat to just like be like, ah.
They're doing it now. So wait, who is this guy?
Or yeah, do the.
Wait, where is this MLG Formula guy? Give me your Twitter @ so I can congratulate you. If I
just did.
Where you did?
Yeah.
Where you did on Twitter?
No, in the Skype chat. Goodness gracious, detriments everywhere.
Oh, it's actually MLG Formula? Well, that's easy.
Yeah. He's sponsored by Cinch.
I know this guy.
No way.
Oh, no!
All right.
He's in trouble.
I don't think we're allowed to say that.
We're not giving this to him. There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs to find it. I've seen this guy. He's tweeted at me.
I told you, he watches like every week. It's awesome that he won.
Well, congratulations, MLG Lion. That's what's on your Twitter, so I'm just going to say that. All right, so we'll get the information and we'll DM it to Scuf. Why are people still typing Merk 3? Because they're seeing Merk's tweet. So they're coming in here and typing Merk 3, Merk 3, Merk 3. Congratulations, MLG Formula, for winning. That's definitely awkward, Golden Boy. MLG Formula, we'll just DM and we'll find out what we have to do. So I will, we'll figure that out. So thank you guys for coming to the show. Thank you, Merk, for being on. Thank you, Hitch. Thank you, Fatty. We'll do our real quick outros, even though we're way over time. So what I want you to say, and make it fast, is your name, anything you want to whoever you want, and then I'll close the show. And we'll go Fatty, Hitch, Merk, and then myself.
All right, well, I'm Smiling Fatty. Use Fatty for your codes everywhere. It works with like Amazon and that's true. Anyways, man, I don't have a good clever shout out, so we'll just say shout out to you guys for making my Mondays really freaking awesome and fan freaking tastic. This is the highlight of my week is now Monday, when Mondays are supposed to suck. And that's because of the gentleman here and also you guys that watch. And thanks for making a great show. Love you all.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this week. This is one of my favorite shows I think we've ever done. We broke records today, right?
We came very close.
Came very close to breaking records. Merk, you're a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks, guys, for watching the Optic Intel video updates that we've been putting out. We finally got a chance to get around to launching those, and I'm uploading another one tomorrow, and just got a lot of stuff on the horizon for that. So thank you so much for supporting that, and peace.
Merk.
All right, well, thank you guys. Most of you guys know me as Merk. You can check me out, mlg.tv/Merk. I stream every day. YouTube.com/HandsomeMerk. I'm trying to put out more content, but really I'm focused on Champs right now. Hopefully soon I'll get back to that. But thank you guys for having me on the show. Thank you for all you guys coming and watching. Hope you enjoyed the intel that we dropped here on the show tonight. And I hope we made you guys Monday. Have a good night, guys.
All right, I'm Kingdom. Thank you, Merk, for coming on. Now, non-Optic show, because the last time we had when we hit 2100 is because it was the day that all the rosters changed and Crim and all them were announced on Optic Gaming. So anybody that was talking about that roster that day was going to get views. We didn't even have a guest, and then we hit 2200. And so, thank you, Merk, for helping us hit record. I apologize to all the Greenwall fans that had to hear us talk about how you got defeated at COD Champs. I know you're going to tweet at me now. I can see Merk's face.
He's like, that's like 30 more death threats.
Jesus. That's like build a bunker around here, man.
And, you know, I'm going to have to have a personal conversation with Fatty's wife if I ever meet her for purposely tripping the cord when we were discussing that topic.
He's like, wait, what? What's going on?
Yeah, you kind of scared me there. Like, wait a minute.
Thank you, Golden Boy, for shouting us out from Twitch and for the front page and all the support you guys give us. Make sure that you guys give us feedback on this overlay. If you love it, if you hate it, if you want it to change, and to pay homage to someone that I just thought about when I said it. We love you, but we don't love you. See you guys next week. Peace.
Wait, who's that?